Hello there. Hey, my name is Matt, and I'm going to tell you a story today. Sort of a joke, but without a real punchline. So, get keen for that. There was this little boy called George, and he didn't grow up to be a gay icon. Never wore a hat in his life. It's a different boy, George. He lived on a farm out in regional New South Wales, country estate, Australia. I'm sure most people have seen that Baz Luhrmann documentary, the movie Australia. It's sort of like that, big property, middle of nowhere, on a farm. And when George is a little kid, he sits there on the porch with his mum, watching his dad go around the crops on his tractor. And little George thinks to himself, oh, that tractor's pretty cool, eh? I mean, bloody love tractors. I wish I could do that. And so as he gets older, his dad lets him go for a ride on the tractor with him. His mum buys him all these little tractor toys and tractor posters. He's got tractor bed sheets. He's got little soft toy tractors that he keeps in his bed with him. And his parents go, oh, it's just a phase, he'll grow out of it. He'll get over the tractors, surely. He doesn't, though. He goes to primary school. It's a big drive-in. All the kids from the local community, they're all in there together. And George doesn't have that many friends, unfortunately. I never said it was a happy story, but George is all alone playing with his tractors every recess and lunch, just mowing the grass with him. I don't know what tractors do. Tending, do they tend fields? Is that turning fields? I don't know. So George goes through primary school, not too many friends, but he's got his tractors, so he's happy. As long as he's got those toy tractors, he knows that he's got a friend. Yeah, he goes to high school with the same group of people. They all move up together. All the kids that live around town on the farms. And year 7 and 8, no one really talks to him still. He's still hasn't outgrown that tractor obsession. He's still Weird Tractor George, they call him. Kids can be cruel, eh? Terrible stuff. But one day in year 9, he meets this girl called Ashley. Now Ashley is stunning. Blonde hair, blue eyes, really clever, just nicest girl. Nicest girl you could ask for. And one day she sits next to him and asks to borrow a pen, and they get chatting, and Ashley realises George isn't that bad a guy. Yeah, he likes tractors, but he's really sweet and charming and funny. They spend every recess and lunch together from that point on. They're inseparable. They're like peas in a pod. As they grow older together, year 10, year 11, start year 12, their friendship just draws closer and closer. One weekend Ashley comes back to George's farm and she sees his bedroom with the walls covered in tacked up tractor posters and his tractor bed sheets and the little soft toys still in his bed, and she goes, yeah, that's a bit weird, but everybody's a bit weird when it comes down to it. And she's over it, it's fine, they're still friends. And they get to the end of year 12, they're getting older, the formal's coming up, which is like an Australian prom. And George, at this point, he's figured out he's in love with Ashley. He loves her to bits. And he just doesn't know how to tell her, so he decides that he's going to write her a lovely little letter explaining how he feels and ask her to go to formal with him. And then they're going to have their first kiss and live happily ever after. So George sits down in his room, he's writing this letter, he's writing it, he's rewriting and rewriting and adding PS and PSS and PPS, and he finally gets it just right. He goes, this is it. Puts it in an envelope with little hearts on it. Sprays it with cologne, because he's a classy guy. And he gives it to her at school one day in front of all her friends. And she looks at him and goes, George, I'm sorry, mate, but I can't like you this way. It's the tractors. They're really weird. Like, you've got to grow up one day, mate. And George is gutted, understandably. He goes home to his room. He cries his eyes out. He looks up at the wall, sees all the tractors, and just starts ripping them off. She's ripping the posters off the wall, throws out all his toys, chucks away his magazines. He's left sitting in an empty room, all alone. The night of formal comes and he doesn't go, he just sits there by himself. And he gets a phone call at about 11 o'clock. It's Ashley. She's having the after party at her house and everybody's going. You know, these kids have been with each other for 12 years now. They've grown up together. It's their last night. And it's not right that George isn't there. So Ashley's saying, come over to mine. Come to the after party. We'll have a talk. So George puts on his fancy jeans, his favourite shirt, gets in his car and starts driving. It's about a 20-minute drive because, you know, they're out in the country. And on his way there, he has to pull over because there's this huge dust storm. He sees it coming in the distance, just this massive red cloud, and it's just full of dirt and sand, just topsoil. He pulls over, lets it pass. The car's now completely brown, but he's fine. He gets to the house, and he can tell straight away that there's something up. The front door is left open, and he walks up the little garden path and past the flower beds, and he sees through the open door that there's dust everywhere. You know, the party's ruined. There's dust in the carpet, in the drinks, in the food, in the ice, in the pool. It's just a shame, really. You know, their last night and it's just been ruined. And George walks up to the door. He takes a deep breath, he goes, and then he breathes all this dust down the street. Same thing again. All this dust comes into his mouth and he just breathes it away down the road. And everyone watching is just astounded. They're like, what the hell is going on? How is he doing this? And in a minute the house is spotless. All the dust is away. And Ashley comes running up to him. She goes, George, how did you do that? And he looks at her and he gives a little half smile. And he goes, what can I say? I'm an ex-Tractor fan.